Hey everybody. So today I want to take a look at the best and worst offensive teams in the NHL. And to do this, we're going to be using goals for per game because obviously the number of games that teams have played varies pretty significantly, especially this year. So using straight up goals for, the teams that have played more games would have an advantage. So using goals for per game, we're going to look at the best and the worst offensive teams in the NHL. Before we begin, I just ask that you please hit that subscribe button and thumbs up if you haven't yet. Helps the channel a ton and is greatly appreciated. But let's get right into it here, and let's start with the top 5 scoring teams in the NHL. Here we have it, top 5 goals for per game in the league, and coming in at number 5 are the Edmonton Oilers, scoring 3.30 goals for per game. Obviously, a very potent offense with guys like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and all the other weapons that they have there. Tyson Barrie and Darnell Nurse chipping in a lot offensively from the back end as well. So Edmonton is one of the better offensive teams in the league, and they come in at number 5. Number 4, just ahead of the Oilers, are the Toronto Maple Leafs, the leaders of the North Division at 3.31 goals for per game, just 0.01 more than Edmonton. And Toronto, obviously we know about the offensive weapons that they have. Austin Matthews leading the league in goals. Mitch Marner having a huge season. Nylander, Tavares, they've got a potent offense there, led by their top, players, those top 4 guys who are leading the way offensively for the Maple Leafs. And, they're expected to be one of the top offensive teams in the league. They are this year, coming in at number 4 in goals for per game. At number 3, we have the Washington Capitals at 3.40 goals for per game. Another team that you would expect to be on this list. Alex Ovechkin, Nicholas Backstrom, TJ Oshie, Evgeny Kuznetsov, John Carlson on the back end. Another potent offensive team with a very good deep lineup in 4 lines who can score. So really no surprise to see Washington here. They're 3rd in the league. Number 2, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning at 3.51 goals for per game this season. We talk so much about the Lightning and just the ridiculously stacked lineup that they have. They don't have Nikita Kucherov this year. Kucherov is missing the entire regular season with hip surgery, and they are still 2nd in the league on offense, and that's without one of the top players in the NHL in Nikita Kucherov. It really doesn't matter. They still have Stamkos, they still have Point, they still have Cirelli and Palat and Killorn and everyone else in that lineup. They still have Hedman and McDonough and everyone on the back end. I mean, this team is just absolutely loaded in every area. Scoring is one of those areas, and they are 2nd in the league in offense this year. But coming in at number 1 is the Colorado Avalanche at 3.63 goals for per game. And it didn't start the season that way. Colorado was kind of a low-scoring team to start the year for the most part. They played a lot of low-scoring 2-1, 3-1 type of games. And now, more recently, as Colorado has gotten healthier, they've gotten more and more potent offensively, and they have launched themselves to number 1 in the league in goals for per game. Obviously, Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Gabe Landeskog, Cale Makar on the back end, Kadri, Donskoy, Brandon Saad, other guys chipping in for some secondary scoring. This team is absolutely loaded, and the Avalanche look like one of the best teams in the league right now, and they are going to be a team to watch come playoff time without a doubt. So there are your top 5 teams in goals for per game in the NHL right now. The Edmonton Oilers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Washington Capitals, Tampa Bay Lightning, and Colorado Avalanche. No real surprises on that list, in my opinion. These are all high-scoring teams that are expected to be high-scoring teams and have a lot of superstar power among them that lead the way in getting them all of this offensive production. Now we're going to switch things up and turn to the other side. The worst goals for per game in the NHL, the worst offensive teams in the league this year. Let's take a look. Coming in at number 5, we have a tie for 5th lowest goals for per game in the NHL between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Nashville Predators at 2.49 goals for per game. Not really surprising. Both of these teams are kind of known for being more defense first, and not really super big in the goal scoring department. That's the way that they've played over the past few years, and that's continued this year, scoring just under 2.5 goals per game. Columbus, unfortunately, their defensive play has not been up to par either this season, and that's why they've struggled as much as they have. Nashville has gotten significantly better over the past few weeks, and they are now fighting in playoff contention in the Central, currently holding down the 4th spot in the division. So they struggle to score, but Nashville has started to find some ways to win games. Coming in at number 4, we have the New Jersey Devils at 2.44 goals for per game. New Jersey, obviously one of those rebuilding teams who weren't expected to do a whole lot this season. I'm a little surprised that they're on this list, though, because I thought that with the young talent that they have, that it wouldn't be offense that would be the problem for New Jersey. I thought it would be the defense, and I figured they would probably score a decent number of goals, but then also give up a lot of goals, and that would be the problem for them this year. That really hasn't been. Now they have given up a decent amount of goals, but offense hasn't been to the level that I thought it was going to be for the Devils. And despite some good seasons for particular players, Pavel Zacha, Jack Hughes having a solid year, as a team, New Jersey is still struggling to score. At number 3, we have the Anaheim Ducks at 2.22 goals for per game. Bottom 3 in the league. They have a lot of young players that are just trying to break into the NHL and solidify themselves as NHL players. Anaheim is very much in a rebuild right now, so this isn't completely unexpected. And some of their better offensive players are really just getting their feet wet in the NHL. And until those guys get some more experience and get some more development in their game and some more solid grounding at the NHL level, I think Anaheim's going to be a team that struggles to score. And that might change over the next 2 to 3 years, but right now that's where they're at, and they are not a team that puts a lot of pucks in the net. Coming in at number 2, we have the Detroit Red Wings at just 2.16 goals for per game. Obviously, Detroit is Detroit. This isn't completely unexpected. They do have some decent offensive players there and some guys with some talent, but they haven't really put it all together yet as a team. And the Red Wings have really struggled to score this year, as you can see. And again, Detroit is one of those teams that is still definitely a few years away coming out of the rebuild and into contention territory. And then at number 1, no surprise here, the Buffalo Sabres giving up scoring 2.14 goals per game. It's Buffalo. They did win last night and scored 6 goals against the Flyers, so good for them for that. That definitely boosted their goals for, but they are still worst in the league right now. And it's not surprising given the season that the Buffalo Sabres have had. Hopefully they can pick things up and get a little bit better in the final 20 games or so. But it's just been that kind of year for the Sabres, and they are worst in the league in offense this season. So those are your bottom 5 teams in goals for per game. We have a tie between the Blue Jackets and Predators. Then we have the Devils, the Ducks, the Red Wings, and the Sabres. So that is going to do it, guys. Your best and worst offensive teams in the NHL in 2021 based on goals for per game. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon merchandise store, donation link, and channel memberships are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.